I am a bit fearful that we're sleepwalking into certain things as a society, so I think it's a really great process to be going on.
How do we think about how your rights are being respected and impacted or addressed through all of this? Not just your data rights and information rights, but broader rights, so common law, the Equality Act. Are there gaps?
We've established what we're calling the Citizens Biometrics Council. That's composed of two groups, one in Bristol and one in Manchester. 30 members of the public in each group will spend 6 whole days over 3 months deliberating on what conditions we need to have in order for biometric technologies and biometric data to be used kind of consistently with public trust and public legitimacy and in the public interest. We've got a range of experts coming to talk to them, from the Information Commissioner's Office to private companies that make this technology to the police that use it. And the members of the public will be asked to really set their red lines, set their kind of conditions and their expectations when it comes to biometrics.
I think for a lot of people in the room it's unclear. They've heard a lot of things about it, so it's in the news, for instance, facial recognition on the street, but nobody really knows how it's being implemented, what the exact issues are.
I'm really hopeful that we'll get some challenge back, and that in the questions and the deliberations, that group will be able to really help us zoom in on what do people really think about this.
And how much consideration has been given to the people who have some of these qualities which are not immutable. For example, people like me who are transgender and whose voice, face, way of walking, everything apart from my DNA and my fingerprints has radically changed, and bone structure will not match the idea of what a man's bone structure is.
I think the impact can be very different for different communities. It's not going to affect everybody in the same way.
It's vital that people actually in positions of power realise that that is a very real concern, particularly if you've not really experienced that kind of bias and discrimination yourself. If this is not part of how your life has been, it can be hard to actually truly understand what that is a reality.
Is a facial recognition system going to be as biased in the same way that human beings are?
How I would see it is young black males would probably be less enthused about it, because it's almost to say, well, we have your face, therefore this is right information, therefore we've got more reason to be able to, search you, ask for your information, ask for your DNA. So for me, I think that needs to change first. So the police process needs to change first in order to gain the trust back in sort of that sort of demographic.
And the reason I'm really supportive of the work that the Ada Lovelace is doing is because there are a whole bunch of open questions and tensions and things that we just don't know the answers to. But for future generations, there are implications here around what do we feel this technology will do for our societies.
I think it's important to give people the full picture, the full knowledge of what's going on when it comes to biometric technologies.
What we as citizens think is going to be so important to shaping how biometric technologies are deployed and what role they play in our lives.
In order to get kind of trust and legitimacy and buy-in, you do need to listen to people. And I think that questions around technology and data and AI, because they're going to change our society the same way the first industrial revolution changed our society, they are some of the most important to involve people in.